is the first and the last time that you ever raised your damn hand at me. Ever since then, that never happened again. With that being said, let's start out with an informal greeting from me to you. What's happening? What is up? How's it going? Oh yeah, you know today is Sip Sip Tuesday. Forgive me for looking a little funky. I could not film this weekend. I had plans to film this weekend, but things happened and well, I couldn't. Today rolled around, I was like, okay, today's perfect. Actually, I have a few hours. That's not a watch, but let's pretend like it is. I have exactly about an hour and a half to get this in. And that's what she said. But to get this video in, a quickie, if you will, and knock this Sip Sip Tuesday out. So welcome again to Sip Sip Tuesday number 6, or number 7, or number 5. I don't remember. And might I say, I was seriously not about to do this and just be like, you know what, I kind of really don't want to do this. But I said no. Get yourself back on track. Because remember the video from yesterday? We're talking about getting back on track. So I was like, you know what, I need to keep this streak going. So here I am today about to show you what I've got to sip on today for Sip Sip Tuesday. And I have this. Ta-da! Moonshine Sweet Tea, Sweet Peach. This I actually got super dirt cheap because of Cartwheel on Target. You're welcome, Target, for promotion. And I think I bought it too. I had some rebates and stuff like that, but I got like a really good deal on it. Yeah, I've never tried this before, but it says helping children's charities. Oh, that's sweet. What else can I tell you about this? Let me see. Go Texan. That's awesome. My beautiful, amazing better half is from Texas. Baby, I'm drinking something that says Go Texan. Are you proud of me? I feel a little bit more Texan right now. No GMOs, gluten-free, and kosher. Those are pluses, of course, absolutely. This is made with real cane sugar. Let's just hope that this tastes good and not like that one kombucha that tasted like healthy soda. But anyways, that's the least of our worries. Let's get to this Sip Sip Tuesday, and I forgot my laptop. Sometimes I wish it would just grow some legs and walk over here. But then again, that would kind of be freaky, a little scary. We don't want that. Shall we open this together? Dang it, it always happens. It always happens like that. Yep. All right. Okay. Either I am really wimpy, or they make these to make you feel wimpy, or I'm just not doing it right. No, I think they did that on purpose. At least that's what I'm gonna tell myself. Damn it, why do you do this, Moonshine? You make me feel super weak and look super weak on camera. That opening of the bottle didn't even look like I was strong. All right, let's try this. Whoa, that is good. That literally tastes homemade. I've missed that feeling for so long. Side note, my diaper buddy's mom made the best delicious iced tea. This is what it tastes like. It reminds me of that. And I love it. Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna get you next time again. Don't you worry. You are lip smacking good. This was a suggestion that was left on one of my videos on another Sip Sip Tuesday, I believe. And it says, Stacy would love your thoughts sometime on an LGBTQ plus topic that I've been struggling a lot with lately. Maybe it's a future Sip Sip Tuesday topic, which it is. The question is, how do you know where the line is between a protective girlfriend and an abusive one? I've been dating someone who is a little bit older than me. I'm 20, she's 25. Since I'm a bit shy and introverted, I really like the fact that she's got a strong, confident, and outgoing personality. She always says I'm way too naive and trusting of people. Anyway, a few weeks ago, after we got back from a party with her work friends, she got really upset and said I had been talking too much with one of her friends. She grabbed me by the arms, pushed me against the wall, and shook me pretty hard. But it was the anger in her eyes that scared me the most. I've tried to brush it off as her just being protective of me. Well, at least she cares, right? But I can't seem to stop that night from playing over and over in my head. Am I just being a drama queen and overreacting, or does that seem like something I should be worried about? Sorry for rambling. That is definitely something you should be worried about. Like, look, I know there are times when we do things and we're just kind of like, whoa, what the hell just happened? And then we don't ever do them again. We learn from our mistakes. But I think that if you can get away from something like this that has happened early on, the better. Because, I don't know, who's to say that they won't ever do it again? Who's to say that they say that they're not going to do it again and then they do it again? We don't know what the future holds. So that is something that you really have to make a decision on. But as far as my opinion, if I'm your good friend and I'm sitting here and you're telling me this, I'm telling you to get the hell out of there. And that's that. That happened once and that won't ever happen again. I'll tell you a story that my grandma told my mom. My grandma had this man who raised his hand at her and she said, this is the first and the last time that you ever raised your damn hand at me. And ever since then, like, that never happened again. I was like, dang, My Gmail is a bust. I definitely think that that's something to worry about. I think especially if it's playing over and over and over in your head. Your intuition is there for a reason. If this is crossing your mind over and over and over and over again, that's your intuition. That's your inner, whatever you want to call it, being like, hey, that was not right. Something ain't right here. Whether it's something that's going against your belief, whether it's something that's going about what you've been taught, that to me is a red flag, because that person could have easily gone to you and said, hey, you know, I really want to talk to you about this. That really upset me. And use their words to communicate. And yes, I know there's things that happen that piss us off and we're just like, oh, and you don't want to sit down and calmly talk about things. But if you really fucking care about somebody and you really want to make things work and work shit out, it's a good idea to just use your words, to let go of that. If you need some time to cool down, just tell them straight up, like, hey, look, I don't want to talk right now. I'm really upset. All I'm asking is that you just give me some space and I'll come talk to you when I'm ready, or something. You also have to take the other person into consideration. As much as you want to be taken into consideration, you also have to give them consideration. Treat others how you want to be treated. If you don't want to be left just like that, wondering and all that, then don't do the same to them. But again, back to the whole communication thing. I think it's just respectful to just tell them straight up what's going on. If you're pissed, let them know, but let them know that you need some space, or tell them whatever it is that you need in that moment. It can really be appreciated, really be considerate of you to let them know. And of course, it is hard sometimes when you're in the moment. Like, I'm the kind of person that likes to fix things right then and there, because I know myself that I'm gonna be there and I'm thinking, overthinking, overanalyzing, doing all these other things, and it's really hard for me to even break out of that because all I can focus is on that. You know, I want to fix it right then in that moment, because if I did something wrong, I need to know, because I'm sure as hell gonna get to work and fix that right away, especially the things that are super freaking important to me. And this is the part where I'd say that relationships, no matter what kind of relationships, really need communication and really need to learn about those things. Communication really is key. We hear that all the time, but it really is. I've seen it over and over and over again. I've proven it over and over again. If you communicate and you're open and you're honest about your feelings on all of that, it could really go a long way. So I feel like the person that you're dating, if they would have come to you and be like, you know what, I'm pissed right now, I don't want to talk about it, please give me some space and we'll talk about it later, and then you guys talk about it later, it would have really helped not only you see these things that are going on, that maybe you did something wrong, but then that's the question, to whose standards did you do something wrong? What I'm trying to say is, how would you have known what that person wasn't gonna like, or what bugs that person if they never communicated to you? I think at that moment, if I were in the shoes, I would have come back and been like, hey, you know, I just want to let you know that this really bugged me because I felt this and this way, and then both talk it out. Because again, how are you gonna know what they don't like you doing if they don't open up about it? How are they gonna know what you don't like them doing if you don't openly talk about it? Communication. If it's constantly on your mind, I think it is your mind and your heart and all of you saying, this is a red flag, this is not okay. You gotta do what you gotta do. I, again, think she could have easily used her words to express and say these things without getting physical. And I definitely think she crossed the line, but that's my opinion. How you feel and what you see to be crossing the line and being disrespected in that way, physically, verbally, whatever it could be, emotionally, is what's important. If that was crossing the line to you, then done deal. You should know what to do moving forward, because it's your life. Nobody else is going to be in that relationship other than you two. Well, at least that's what I believe. You don't deserve that. And that's one thing that I preach a lot, and you know this, is self-respect, self-love, self-worth. You've got to know these things. Don't ever allow yourself to be disrespected in that manner, because a lot of the times what happens is you let it happen once, you're okay with it, you let it go, and it happens again. Sometimes there are cases when it doesn't ever happen again, when you're just like, okay, you know, that was just that one time, and thank goodness it didn't ever happen again. But there are times where, like, they know that they could get away with it, and so it just continues to happen, and then you're just too far in where you're just kind of like, oh shit. You know, there's also the possibility that they could have been like, oh shoot, like, you know, okay, I was saved from this one, I won't do it again. Or they're trying to get on your good side, or they know that they did wrong in your eyes, and now they're trying to play, you know, the manipulative card, the controlling card, and be like, hey, yeah, you know what, again, I won't do it again, I promise I won't do it again. And then they know they're gonna do it again, and then down the line it happens again, because they just know how to play the emotional card. They just know how to play you like a freaking puppet. That's for you to decide. You cut the cord now and bounce out of there. I mean, there's a difference too between 25 and 20. Some people are like, no, there's not really much of a difference, but I personally, from my own experience, from my own aging, there's a huge difference between 20 and 25, because a lot of people will agree. Of course, it's going to be different for every person. Every single person that ages through those times is going to be different. Every case is going to be different, but generally speaking, for most of us, we are so different that we were from 20 and then at 25. There's 5 years in between of still maturing. She already went through all that. Maybe there's some kind of jealousy in between, that negativity or something that that really got to her. Maybe that could play a part in future arguments and other stuff like that, but as your friend, I think that's very disrespectful. I think that was out of line. I think that was crossing the line, and I think that you should walk away from that, and you don't deserve that. And I would also tell you, don't ever let anybody ever do that to you again. You're in control to put your foot down and be like, hey, you know what? This is it. That's done. I'm done. I don't need to deal with this, and I'm not gonna put myself in that danger, because sometimes that is exactly a foreshadow to the future of what is to come. And maybe it's just a foreshadow of telling you that you're gonna be in danger down the road. Of course, we all don't want to be over dramatic, but we need to think about these things because they could happen. You see things all the time. You hear stories. These things can happen even from a relationship that is really, really respectful in the beginning. Things happen. Life happens. Life makes these changes, and people can this change, and shit could happen. So I think it's always a good idea to just be thoughtful and mindful of these things. Be aware of these things, and if a little red flag goes up in your mind, then that's when you should probably take action. You know, that's for you to decide. Are you gonna allow this or eliminate it out of your life? It's all up to you. It's all your decision. And I think that if you have to come up with all these excuses and you're still not really seeing it clearly, and you're doubting it, and this is still running through your mind, there's clearly something telling you that, hey, this is not right. And I think you should listen to your intuition, listen to yourself, because you know what's right from wrong for you. And if somebody crosses that line and disrespects you and you're not okay with it, speak up and walk out. Damn, this is good. Or if you feel like it's gonna be dangerous, then obviously don't lash out and speak out like that. Todo con medida. Everything that happens, you always have to gauge the situation, gauge the dangerousness of it. Always think about your safety and your protection, because you just don't know what can happen. And I feel like if you feel any type of fear, figure things out. Like I said, this could have just been a one-time deal thing, but even then, especially if you guys are just dating, if it's just brand new, what does that tell you? You guys are just dating, haven't even gotten into something super serious, and this is already happening. That's like 4 red flags. Just being like, hey, we're not even in a freaking relationship, we're not even official, and bam, this is how you're gonna treat me? There was no reason to get physically aggressive, and that's why I always talk about the importance of knowing your self-worth, loving yourself, enough to know what you're gonna tolerate and what you're not gonna tolerate, what you deserve and what you don't deserve. Wholeheartedly know these things. Yes, it does take a lot of work to feel that, to have that self-love, to know that self-worth, to figure these things out and be self-aware, but that's life. And we have to be the ones to figure that out for ourselves, because nobody else is gonna come along and do the job for us. There are gonna be people in our lives that influence us for the better, that impact our lives for the better, that possibly give us these beautiful feelings, that open up our eyes to our own self-love, or that motivate us and inspire us to want to give ourselves more love, to love ourselves, to begin to love ourselves more, to know our self-worth, to find these beautiful feelings within us, to work on ourselves, to work on that. But nobody is going to come along and be like, hey, I'm gonna give you all this self-love, I'm gonna do all the work for you, and then just pass it on through like a microchip or something. Why would it be in a microchip? I don't know. So unfortunately it does not work that way. It would be kind of cool if it would happen that way, because then we would not have to have all this work and all these letdowns and all these disappointments and all these ups and downs of life that we would have to go through, and it would just be a ride to the top. But it's not like that for a reason. It's not like I said raisin, for a reason. And I'm actually very thankful that it's like that, because I have learned so much through my journey, and I'm glad. Like, I look back and I'm just like, I've come a long way, and I'm actually really freaking happy that I had to go through this, and look where I'm at now. I'm in such a better place, and I'm just so happy. Yes, not everything in my life is 120% amazing, but I'm content and I'm happy with the way that I love myself. And yes, there's so much left to work on about myself, and I still disappoint myself with certain things, and I'm still working on myself, and I'm still having a hard time with certain things with myself. But I have come such a long way that I am so proud. I am so proud of myself and the self-love that I have, and how I've loved myself more over the years, and just grown as a person inside and out. And so I've just become the better version of me, and I try to do so at least 1 little % every single day, something, somehow, or continue to work on something over and over again. That's all part of our self-love journey. I definitely went on a different tangent right now, but back to what we were saying. In the end, that is definitely a red flag for me, and I would say get the hell out of there now that you can, because you do not deserve that. Nobody deserves that. And I really do hope that that person learns their lesson from that. I don't know, maybe they will, maybe they won't, but I don't think that you should stay there to tolerate that. It's all up in the air with that kind of stuff. But I don't think there should be that kind of disrespect. Of course, there is and always will be that kind of stuff in the world, but that's why I also think it's super vital and important that if you see any signs of that or anything like that happens in the beginning, don't take a chance, walk out. A part of me is kind of just like, I stand behind that 100%, but then there's a small little part of me that knows that sometimes we make mistakes. And that doesn't mean that every single person that makes a mistake is going to continue to make that mistake. Sometimes that's exactly how we learn from that mistake, and that's done, and we don't ever do it again. So I know there's that small part of me that is thinking about that, and that knows that not every single person that makes that mistake is going to turn out to be that way. Those are my thoughts, and I feel like all in all, the most important thing here is that you ask yourself these questions. If it was okay for you, if it was crossing the line for you, if it was disrespectful to you, if you're gonna allow that, if you're okay with that, whatever you were feeling, know that it's okay to feel it. If you're already feeling the controlling, those are red flags. If you ask me, that was physical aggression. Maybe it wasn't to a very dangerous degree or a very dangerous level of it. One end of the spectrum where it could be very, very physical and really bad, but it could possibly be heading that way. And these are the things that you need to think about. These are the things that you need to be conscious about, because things could really happen that way. You guys are simply dating. It happened over something so small where they could have easily pulled you aside and be like, hey, you know, I'm feeling this way, and go to work on things. And then at that moment, you still would have been able to decide, well, what the heck, I was just talking, I wasn't doing anything wrong. You get what I'm saying, but I just don't think there was any need, or there is ever any need for any physical aggression. It could be the start of something very, very dangerous. I think words could have been used here, and she chose not to. And again, maybe that's the kind of person that she is, or maybe she just made a mistake. I don't know the situation, but listen to yourself, listen to your gut feelings, listen to your intuition, listen to your heart, listen to these red flags that are popping up. That's not somebody caring about you. I can see where that might stem from, but again, I think somebody that really truly cares about you is not gonna put their hands on you. But I mean, there are some instances where it does happen, where then they come around and they're like, I don't know why I did that, but I care for you, and because I care for you, I want to learn how to handle my anger, because I don't ever want to do that to you again, and then to go about that. Somebody who truly cared about you like that worries about your protection and your safety. That's including coming from them as well. So I think that you definitely shouldn't allow yourself to be disrespected like that, and especially if you've seen the anger in her eyes. These are things that are straight up telling you that could have easily been another sign, another thing that your intuition, your gut was letting you know, like, hey, this is not right, this is not okay, get the hell out of here. I know some people could have easily been like, well, yeah, it was the fear that you were feeling in that moment, of course it's talking, but we feel these feelings for a reason, and I feel like that's our mind and our body talking to us and being like, something's wrong here. So I think it's essential to listen to ourselves, but I don't think that you should create excuses for this person. I don't think there are any valid excuses for their behavior. Yeah, sure, only sticking around to see if things would change with time would let you know if that's really how they are or not. I just don't think that there was any need for the aggression. But again, that's just one person's opinion. Your opinion is what matters and is most important. But I do thank you for sharing this with me and giving me a topic to make the Sips of Tuesday on. I know there wasn't any really news or anything like that, but I thought it was a really good idea to bring up this topic. I don't know, I just thought it was important. I definitely just want to say that your safety always comes first. Protect yourselves, catch these things on time, and just kind of be aware. Remember that for every person out there who treats you bad, there's a whole bunch of other ones out there who would love to be treating you perfect. So don't think that this one person is it and that's the only person. And I know that's kind of hard to separate, because sometimes you're like so into somebody and you're just like, ooh, but I want things to work. Don't get hung up on the idea of them, especially if things are like that where it's super dangerous. I think in a relationship you should only want to show love and care and take care of each other, not make things worse or try to control them or manipulate them or any of that negative stuff. Love is such a beautiful thing, and yes, love is not always a fairy tale, and most of the times love is not like the movies, but you can take the initiative to be the best version of yourself every single day, and it's out there. I just want to say that it is out there, and love is so freaking beautiful that it doesn't deserve to have all this bad, negative, dangerous things. And yes, that's gonna happen in life. If you can catch it on time and you can be mindful about it and be aware of these things, pinpoint them when they happen and get out of there on time, you could be saving yourself and that person from so much damage. Have that in your mind, be aware of that. And I think I've just been repeating myself over and over again. But with that being said, if I forget anything, I'll definitely make another video about this on the same topic. Don't try to make excuses to cover up their own behavior, because remember, remember, actions speak louder than words, and if their words and their actions are not lining up, there's definitely a bright red flag going up right there, letting you know something is up. That could definitely be your sign right there. I want to say thank you so much for joining me this Sip Sip Tuesday. Let's take one more sip. Definitely will be getting this again. If you know anybody that this video could really help, you never know who you could be helping that's around you that may be in need of help, please share this, because you just never know. If you just share this or pass this forward, those people in need could really get that help or be able to help others if this ever arises. One of their friends, family members, whoever, it could be a stranger. So that's why I say it is very important to share this forward. And if you do, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for being here watching this. And of course, you know I will see you in the next video. And if you want to see more of me in real time, please check out my social medias. They're on the screen or down below. If you like what you see, I invite you to follow me. If you already follow me, stop on by and say what's up. And yeah, I hope that you all are having a good day, a good night, a good middle of the day, a good middle of the night snack day moment. That doesn't make sense. Whatever time of day it is where you are at, and I will see you in the next video. And remember, if there was one thing that I want to call to mind, there are actually three. No matter the highs or lows, always be certain to do good, be grateful, and stay humble. Bye.